Hello everyone, welcome to Clarity for Sure. Today, in this video, we are going to discuss some of the important topic or important concept related to the soil science, okay, which is helpful for your upcoming NABARD Grade A 2025 examination. So, we'll get started. So, what are we going to discuss today? So, we are going to discuss an important classification related to the soils, that is your zonal, intrazonal, and azonal soils, okay. We will be reading it we'll be reading only the important aspect of this particular different types of soil formation. Okay, so before moving into the different types of soils, now let us try to understand what is the difference, what is the actual difference between these three types of soils, that is your zonal, intrazonal, and the azonal soils. Okay, first we will start with the azonal. So what is azonal? Azonal is nothing but an immature soil, that is a newly formed soil which will not have that distinct stratification of the soil horizons. Okay, there will not be a distinct classification like O horizon, A horizon, B horizon, E horizon. Why? Because the soil formation is happening. Okay, it is happening. And what is this intrazonal? See, it is a zone between your zonal and the azonal, where here the soil, though it is not like azonal, it is a step ahead. That is, the soil formation process is like, okay, like it is in the medium form, and but the soils are classified, or they take the nature of the local conditions, right? Next comes your zonal. It means it is the deposition of soils over a longer period of time. So it is a climatically driven soils, and it has a well stratification of the horizons of the soil. Okay, so these are all the three important types of soil which you will have to know. Okay, now moving forward, we will just quickly try to understand the types of the soils under different classification. Now comes your zonal soils, which I already told you, it is a climate controlled and it is a mature soil. And what are the types under this particular zonal soil? See, there are different methods. The first one comes your Podzols, where you can find the soils. It will be in the cool, humid climates of south of Tundra. And what is the key feature? There is a process called cheluviation, that is the E horizon of the soil is bleached. Okay, that is the important feature of this Podzols, and it is acidic in nature, rich in iron and humus, and this accumulation of iron and humus will be in the B horizon. Okay, and vegetation, since it is in the tundra climates, so it is coniferous forest. And here are some of the example: humus podzol, iron podzol, clay podzol, etc. Next comes your brown earths. So at which region we can find it? It is in the mild temperate climates, and the leaching is of mild characteristic here. Okay, due to the mild leaching, the soil color is brown, and the soil is well mixed with the humus. Okay, and what is the vegetation? Deciduous forest. Okay, and where it is dominant in the British lowlands, Britain lowlands. Okay, next comes your tundra soil. We know it is from the regions of Arctic or the polar. Here, the A horizon will be in the peat in nature. What is peat? The where there will be no penetration of oxygen. Okay, and slow decomposition. Since there is no penetration of oxygen, more the decomposition is very slow, and thin soils in unstable slopes. Okay, what is the vegetation? Since it is in the Arctic or the polar region, the main vegetation should be your mosses, lichens, and your birch margins. Okay, where you can see this Arctic brown forest is an example of this kind of tundra soils. Next comes your Chernozems. Okay, this Chernozems, where you can see in the desert or the semi-desert area. Here, since the uh, land or the soil is dry in nature, there is a upward movement of lime in the lime or gypsums. Why? Because there is no percolation happening. The soil is very dry. So there will be an upward movement of lime or gypsum. And the organic matter is very low. Why? Because we know it is desert or semi-desert. Okay. Since it is a the desert type of vegetation, there will be only a sparse desert vegetation. Okay, but there is a scope when it is irrigated, this can become fertile. Okay, I hope this is clear to you. Next comes your Chernozems. What are these Chernozems? You can see these types of soils in the steppe or prairie areas. We know steppe or prairie areas are related to your grass. Okay, and here the horizon is of dark in nature. I hope you guys are well aware of the stratification of the soil. So whenever I am talking about any stratification, make sure to think about or visualize the stratification I am talking. Okay, if I am talking about A horizon, you should visualize the A horizon. So the stratification, I would say, I could say that it starts from O horizon, A horizon. Next comes your E horizon. Next comes your B horizon, and next is your C horizon, where C is the parent rock, and last is your R, that is your bedrock. Okay, so this is the flow of your uh, soil horizons. Okay, for this, here I am talking about this A horizon. Okay, next comes your chestnut soils. It is a semi-arid steppe. We saw the steppes, and now we are going to see the semi-arid steppes. It is the surface has low humus. Again, it is around, since it is a semi-arid area, the area is having a low humus. The soil is having the low humus content, and it has a short grass steppe, and it is a transition between your xerosomes and the it is a transition from the xerosomes to the Chernozems. Okay, I hope this is clear to you. Next comes your prairie soils. What does it mean? It is found in the climates or the regions of subhumid steppe or forest transition. It has more humus than, sorry, it has more moisture than this Chernozems, but it is not having much humus. Okay, it is at the moderate level of humus it is going to have. And this vegetation, you could see, it is a grassland forest mix. Why? Because it has more moisture and it has an intermediate humus. So grassland is also possible and forest mix is also possible, and it is actually a transition to the brown earths, which we saw here, no, transition to the brown earths. Okay, here we saw for the brown earths it is deciduous forest, and for this prairie soils it is the grassland forest mix. I hope the zonal classification of soils is clear to you now. Now moving forward to the second and I mean the last two classification of the zonal classification. Here we have the savanna climates. There the soils is called Brumosols, and it is clayey, high base, and it has cracks in dry season. Okay, it will have a crack in dry season, and it has a and you have to note a point that it is clayey in nature. Okay, next comes your Ferralsols, which is a feature of the tropical humid climates, and it is rich in ferrous and aluminium oxides. So the color would be red or yellow, and it has a low humus, and the B horizon of this particular feral salts will be deep. Okay, where the vegetation of this particular type is rainforest. Okay, and it is highly weathered and it has low fertility. Okay, so these are the points which you will have to keep in mind when we study about this Groomzomes and feral soils. Okay, next comes your intrazonal soils, where I was already telling you that it is mostly of the local factor domination would be there. So there are again three types of intrazonal soils which you should know, that is hydromorphic, calcimorphic, and halomorphic. The name itself say it is hydro, means water. Next, calci, it is the presence of calcium, and halo, we know it is the excess presence of salt. Okay. First, the hydromorphic, due to more amount of water that is present, it will have a poor drainage system, or there is a issue of water logging. And what is the uh, key feature, reduction or blue-gray color of the soil would be there. Glaying means, see, if there are many soil particles here, 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 and these gaps are already filled with water. Okay, these gaps are already filled with water. But even but after that also, if the region is of hydromorphic soil, that is there is more income of water, there will be a condition called water clogging. Water logging would be happen. So that is called glaying. Okay, groundwater glay or surface water glay is an example. Next, calcimorphic, as I already told you, the calcium or the calcareous the rock would be the calcareous parent rock, and it will be high in calcium carbonate, and it has a dark organic top, which is known as the red red zina, or clayey red, it is known as terra rosa. Okay, examples, yes, Renzinas terra rosa. Okay, the type of soil, high dark color or clayey red, that color is known as the Rendzina or the terra rosa, respectively. Next is your halomorphic soils, which has the excess salt. Okay, because of the excess salt, the white crust on the top would be a coating of that can be seen on these halomorphic soils. It is a sodium rich soil, and if it is bleached, it is known as solid. Okay, I hope this is clear to you. Next comes your azonal, which I already told you. It is an young, poor profile development, because there will be no clear stratification of the soil. Okay. There are again three types: alluvial soil, regosols, and lithosols. Alluvial soil, we know it is it is the alluvial soils which will have the frequent deposition. Hence, it will have a weak horizon, but the area would be fertile. Okay, deposit of the new alluvium soils. So example is in the flood plains. One example from India would be your Gangetic plains. Okay, the Gangetic plains is one such example. Next comes your Regosols. Here, the parent material is loess or dunes. That is, the sand is the parent material for these regosols, which is again loose and unstructured. What is the example? Dune sands. Okay. Next comes your lithosols, which you can find in the deep slopes. Lithosols means the erosion. The soils that are newly eroded or called the lithosols. The features you can see, sometimes it can be rocky, or sometimes it can be shallow. Okay, the example is the example of the presence of lithosols are your hill slopes. Okay, so these are all the important three types of soils which you will be going through for your soil science. That is your zonal, intrazonal, and azonal. Okay. Next comes the USDA classification. That is 12 soil orders. Okay, and these are all some of the soil order and the meaning, climate region, and the key feature. Alfisols mean the combination of aluminium and iron. It is dominating in the regions of temperate forest. It is clay enriched subsoil. The base is high base state. It means it is clay enriched. Next comes your Andisols. As the name says, it is from the Andes. It is Andes mountains, and it is volcanoic in nature and formed from volcanoic ash. We all know that volcanoic soil is very fertile. Next comes your Aridisols, meaning arid, dry areas from the deserts. We know if it is from the desert, the deposit, the salt, the calcium deposit would be very high, but yes, it is fertile. This soil can be made fertile under proper irrigation, right? Next comes your Entisols. Entisols means recently formed. Enti means recently formed. It is present in all climates. There will be no horizon, so it is very young. So it can be an example of your zonal salts also. Sorry, azonal salts also. Next comes your Gelisols, which means freeze. The Gelisols means gelier means freeze in your permafrost regions, and within 100 centimeter of your it is the permafrost within 100 meter. You could see the formation of this Gelisols. Next comes your histosols. It means histosols means the organic soil, that is your peat material, where you can see cold and wet climate where the decomposition rate is very low. There will be a thick organic matter, but there will be no penetration of oxygen much. Okay, where you will have this thick O horizon, that is the humus layer, the top layer, the organic layer would be very thick in this histosols. Next comes your inceptisols. Inception. What is mean by inception? It means beginning. That is the formation, the beginning of the formation of the soil, where you can see humid and subhumid, where there is a constant rainfall, or where there is a constant landslide. This inceptisol it will with this inceptisol kind of soil we can see. Next comes your mollisols. It means mollies means soft, where you can see in the grasslands. Here, what is the nature of the soil? It is deep, dark, molic in nature, and it is also very fertile in nature. Next comes your oxysols. Oxy means rich in oxides. Okay, rich in iron oxide, ammonium oxide, calcium oxide, like that, oxides. Okay, and where you can see it is in the tropical region. It is highly weathered. Ferrous and aluminium oxides are present here. The color is red. Next comes your spodosols. Spodosols meaning ashy soils, where you can see this ashy soils in the cold coniferous forest. Just think of the climatic classification, or you guys would have studied in geography of the climatic classification, different types of climates. So I'm talking about the cold coniferous forest, and here it is the B horizon is acidic and the E horizon is sporic. Okay, next comes your ultisols. Ultimum means it is the last. Okay, so where you can see this kind of soil, humid tropics and subtropics, here it is strongly leached and it will be in acidic in nature. Next comes your vertisols. Vertisols you can see in the wet and dry climates. What is the distinctive feature of this vertisols? You will have this cracking clays, and it is well suited for your black cotton soil. Okay, black cotton production. Okay. Next, classification based on maturity. Okay, there are three types: young soils, moderately developed, and highly weathered. So examples of this young soils are Entisols and Inceptisols. So you can have the questions: which of the following categories belongs to the young soils based on the USDA order based on the maturity. So you have to note it down that NT and the inceptisols. Inception means beginning. Okay. Next comes your moderately developed, your alfisols and spodosols. Okay, which is clay rich or sporic horizon. Next is highly weathered. We already saw that altisols and oxysols, which has the intense leaching capacity, which is red in color and which is nutrient poor. Okay, this is based on the maturity. Next, based on the climate, we have four: grasslands, desert, wet tropical, and cold climate. So, if it is grassland, we saw it as mollisols, which is the most fertile lands. Okay, desert are aridisols because arid in nature, so fertile when irrigated. Wet tropical, oxysols and altisols, which are highly weathered, old and weathered. Then cold climates, we saw this gelisols and spodosols, which is actually a layer of permafrost and it is acidic in nature. I hope the difference between all these types of soils and based on the climate, the classification based on the climate, maturity, everything is clear to you. So do revise this for your upcoming NABARD Grade A examination, where this will be of very beneficial when there is a question related to the types of soil that is being asked. And we also have this humid climates, where we have this alfisols and inceptisols, which is seen in forest zones. Next, based on the parent material, either it can be volcanic ash or it can be a basalt. So soil order: Andisols and vertisols. We saw this vertisols also we saw, which will have this cracking soils and black cotton. And volcanic ash we saw in the Andisols, and it is highly fertile and dark. Next, organic matter rich. Which of the following, there can be a question, which of the following soils are soil order have an high organic matter? So your answer would be histosols. Why? Because the organic matter content is very high in the form of peat. So where it is found: cold or wet blocks, and where there is a poor drainage. Okay, so in that region you can see this histosol soil order. Next, a global general classification. Okay, uh, it is pedalfers in the humid regions, Okay, dominant elements would be aluminum and ferrous. What is the characteristic? It is leached, acidic, low in calcium, potassium, and your phosphorus. Okay, next comes your pedocals. It is in the regions of arid, with where what is the criteria for arid? Less than 25 inches of rainfall. Calcium. What are the dominant elements that are retained? Your potassium and phosphorus are retained. And what are the characteristics? There is a little leaching, but the soil is alkaline in nature because of the presence of all these three salts. Okay. Next, you will have to see this is the which this is the consolidated table we have learned for zonal, semi-zonal and the azonal areas. Sorry, interzonal and azonal areas. So control factor, it is climate for the zonal, and for intrazonal it is the local factor, and for azonal it is time and relief because it is too young soil. Okay, I told you. Okay, next soil maturity, mature. Zonal and intrazonals are mature, where azonal is immature because it is in the process of the formation of soils. Okay, this varies from Entisols to oxysols. Okay, whatever we have been learning after the classification, see here we have placed it. And examples, there are 12 orders, and that 12 orders are here. Okay, and used by, it is by Russian pedologists. See, you don't have to take note of this, but the classification of soil, the nature of the soil and how it is formed, where it is formed, what is the what is the predominant feature, or what is the predominant element of that particular soil, which soil forms first, what is mean by the last soil that is formed, which is rich in which is rich in some elements. That points you will have to note it down, right? So summing up whatever we have been learning for a while from now, we have discussed different types of classification of soils: zonal, intrazonal, and azonal. I have explained each and every term, what zonal is, what intrazonal is, and what azonal is. And after that, we have gone into the USDA classification of soil properties, and we have seen 12 orders of soils also. And in that 12 orders also, we have seen which is rich in humus, which is rich in organic matter, which is more fertile, which can become fertile when irrigated, which is least fertile, and which has most leaching, or which has less leaching. And we have also seen the soils related to its maturity, and we have also seen the classification based on the uh, organic matter also. So this is all for this video. Do revise this video once, which will be helpful for your soil science preparation. Okay, thank you so much for watching this video. I will meet you with at another video. Until then, study well, have a good day.